Welcome back to Fight Week on Fox. Niko Pajarillo joined by Robert Whittaker live from New Zealand. Now, Rob, the co-main event for UFC 311 this weekend is also a mouth-watering clash on the ground. And Merab Dvalishvili, I feel like a lot of people didn't know if he was championship level, but as we take a look at our turning point presented by Ashley and Martin Medical Hair Centres, that performance against Sean O'Malley at the Sphere really proved a lot of his doubters wrong, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. It's like everyone knew what Merab was going to do. They just didn't know if he could, if he could do it against Sean. And honestly, in the fashion that he did it, there is no debate. Like I love the storyline that the guy has just invested so heavily into that cardio scramble takedown game that it's so much higher above the rest of the division. But I think Umar is going to be the biggest test today. Like stylistically, that's the worst matchup he could have.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw him fight Henry Cejudo, who also has a very strong wrestling base, and what he was able to do to, the Olympic champion and two-time UFC champion at UFC 298.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like he's invested so much into that wrestling kind of grappling cardio, right? Because we saw him with Sean. The guy was able to do sit-ups, push-ups after the fight. The guy was in there for days. He could have done another 5 rounds. But I don't know. I'm curious to see, because Umar definitely has the wrestling expertise, grappling expertise to stop Merab. And he, you look at everything on paper, Umar has the better striking. The way he was able to dismantle Corey Sandhagen, like standing, was, I thought, like quite remarkable. I think that's the fight that opened everybody's eyes to this, to how dangerous he's going to be for Merab. But I feel, much like Cejudo, how the guys kind of hybridize their fight style so that they can strike and grapple. Maybe Merab investing so heavily in just one, that one discipline, that wrestling cardio, starts to get Umar tired in the later rounds.
Do you feel like Merab, if he is victorious, has what it takes to be the next long-term champion at 135?
It's always hard to say. I can't imagine what an entire, like, Merab is so wrestling heavy focused and grappling heavy. I can't imagine how hard his camps are to be able to put on those shows and those performances and those fights and fight the style that he does. I'm sure at some point they start to take a toll. He's been injured before, but I am looking forward to him fighting. Like, once he gets through Umar, if he gets through Umar, who in the division fights him and gives him trouble?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, let's get the champ's thoughts right now. Here's my conversation with the machine himself. Oh, Merab, thanks so much for joining us. It's great to see you, my friend.
Of course, thank you.
Now, it's a massive title fight. Well, it's a title defense for you this weekend, but there's a bit of fire behind this one as well. How are you feeling mentally heading into this battle against Umar Nurmagomedov?
I'm pretty relaxed now, and I'm ready to go on January 18, and I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. This Sunday will be absolutely massive. And when this fight was announced, Merab, you had that press conference. You kept telling Umar to be a man, to be respectful. Merab, where did this come from? What did he do that was so disrespectful towards you?
He disrespected me in X. He called me fake champion, and he bring up some bullshit expression, something disrespectful for me, and he said it's a Georgian expression, which wasn't Georgian expression, and that's why I was mad about him. And when I see him in person, and when I ask him why you disrespect me, he said because I wanted. But 30 minutes later, he lie in front of everyone. I never disrespect Merab, and that's why I was mad, and that's why I wanted to fight him. But now it's all good. Now I'm on the contract to fight him, and I will fight him in the cage, and we will find out who's the better fighter.
All right, well, I don't want to harp on it, but how do you temper that sort of emotion, Merab? Because we've seen trash talk from you in the past, but I feel like I've never seen you angry before. But that was the first time I'd seen you really angry.
Exactly, I was angry, and it wasn't trash talk. That was me, and I wanted to fight this guy. But unfortunately, we was in the UFC building, and we have so many UFC securities, and it's against the rules to fight, somebody, and that's how I was feeling. And you guys see me, I was angry, yeah, about him. But right now we have a fight week, and it's all good. We are fighting in the cage on Saturday, and um, that's all. It's all now business, nothing personal at this moment. And I gotta make sure I'm gonna win this fight and make him humble.
Right, well, professionally, Umar has never been beaten. Are you impressed by his record and his style?
A second. Yeah. Yeah, actually, he's good. He's 18-0, and yeah, as a fighter, he's a good fighter. I always say that, and I'm glad that I have a tough challenger like Umar Nurmagomedov. Like I always had top opponents. It's actually good that I'm underdog. I'm gonna prove lots of people wrong again, and it, you guys can have a great fight, great show, and you guys will enjoy this.
Now, he comes from that famous family, of course, and I feel like over the past decade, Dagestani wrestling is respected and has been feared by so many. Merab, why do you feel like you are the man to solve that Dagestani puzzle?
I feel I'm a better fighter, and I beat all the prospects before, and I will do the same thing again. And um, you guys will see this. That's it. Simple as that.
All right, well, we can't wait to see it. Merab, before we let you go, I did want to ask you this. Your fellow countryman, your fellow champion, Ilia Topuria, has been rumoured to be rematching our guy Alexander Volkanovski on that Miami card in April. Now, the last time you were on this show, you spoke with Volk, you praised him, and you said how much you admired him. So who are you picking for this fight, Ilia or Volk?
Man, I love Volkanovski. He's my favorite fighter, and such a humble he is, and he's a good family man, and it's gonna be really heartbroken. I will be, I don't know, I don't know. I will just watch with one eye. I don't know. Um, so we'll see. I don't think this fight will happen. I don't know. Who knows? Because Ilya is talking about moving up weight class, and hopefully Alex Volkanovski he can fight his belt with somebody else, and Ilya can do what he wants, because I believe Ilya wants to move up and fight new challenge, and somebody different like Islam or Charles Oliveira.
Certainly exciting times at top 145 and 155, but we can't wait to see this one at top 135 this weekend. Merab, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Of course. Thank you, my friend. All the best.
Yeah, there he was, the machine. Rob, this fight's got so much venom in it. How does that sort of emotion affect the fighter's mentality heading into a big bout like this?
It depends on the fighter, obviously, but it can either work for you or against you, because it works for you in a sense that you can kind of numb out everything, all the pressures and the pain and whatever else happens in the moment. Or it can start to block out some of that rationale, fight IQ, critical thinking, and you do something silly.
This is probably one of the most difficult questions of the day, but can I get a tip for this bantamweight championship bout? Who wins?
It's hard. Two things will happen. Could happen. Armin either pieces him up in 5 rounds, and it probably won't even go 5 rounds if he pieces him up. Controls that space, uses his striking just to make Merab really uncomfortable. Or Merab will just double down on wrestling, probably not get successful with the takedowns until the later end of rounds, but start to slowly wear down Umar and eke out a win in that fashion. So if I'm going to go for someone, tip someone, I'm going to go for Merab, because I want to see that. I want to see that narrative. I want to see the guy who just put all his stats in stamina, get a W, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be one of the most exciting fights of the year as well. It's just so evenly matched on the ground. I can't wait for it. Rob, before we let you go, this is our first show of 2025, so I thought it only fitting that we make some predictions for the year ahead.